While we were at Silver Island Mountains Byway, we had a lot of opportunity to just get out and see things. One of my favorite things to do every day with Morrie was to go off on hikes. This was one of our favorites, was to go up to the beginning of the larger peak. So this was just on the roadway. This was a lot of camping. We would eventually end up at that very top peak, and this last section of this road was quite steep. It was certainly not the steepest that I had come across while we were there, but it was certainly quite steep. And I was really fascinated the first time I went up there. As you get to the top, you find that somebody had put a bunch of rocks in and made a fire pit, which means at some point in the not too distant past, somebody was actually up there camping. This was a nice spot. I actually thought that this roadway, because you can see it all the way from the entrance when you first come into the park, way off in the distance there, I thought this was a walking trail. I didn't realize until I got right up to it that it was actually somebody had brought cars up here. And this also, I didn't realize at the time that this section of rock right here is actually a part of Volcano Peak, which a couple of days after filming this footage, we went and climbed, and it was pretty fascinating. So Volcano Peak, it's actually something that shows up on the maps. It is a place that is quite popular. Lots of people like to do this trail, and we didn't realize, again, that that's the peak as it looks like from our campsite, but you're not actually climbing on that side. You have to go all the way around. There are a couple of places on the web where you can find people that have given really good instructions on how to actually get to Volcano Peak. And so we were kind of following them, except for the fact that everything that they have is in miles, and our truck runs everything in kilometers. So we were kind of making a guess, and that pathway that we just passed back there, it turns out that was what we were supposed to be on. We missed our turn, and so realizing it, we took the next right that we could come across and made our way to the trailhead. It was also interesting to see that there were people that were actually camping up in this area. I'm not sure exactly how that guy got his fifth wheel over here without damaging the axles, because as you can see by the rocking in the truck, this was a pretty rough road, and we had to slow down considerably to get over some really big rocks and some really big ruts. We've even got some more that were coming up that were worse. Beautiful day for this. It was quite warm. I think we were around 26 degrees Celsius at this time of the day. And we are out here before noon. We wanted to make sure that we got there, did the climb, and got back down before the full heat of the day. So this would have been around 11 o'clock in the morning. These dirt paths are quite fascinating, that over the course of time, you know, somebody starts on it and then a bunch of other people get there, and then the county or whoever's responsible for this, you know, might grade it a little bit. But the roads are not taken care of. This was another section that was really, really bumpy. And in fact, it's you don't realize that little pause that was there. I had to put the truck into four-wheel drive. This doesn't look that steep from this angle, this footage, but the rear tires were actually spinning out on this, so I had to put it in four-wheel drive to get over this. And you can see some of the great big huge rocks in the way. Thankfully, we've got a truck that's quite high, and we were able to get in here and get this done. So this is the last little stretch before we get to the trailhead. There's just an area here where people can turn around and get back down. When we parked, the truck was at such an angle that even with the parking brake on, you'll see, I think just very briefly in one of the shots, a little orange chalk that we put underneath the tires just to give that extra little bit of safety so that the truck wouldn't roll away on us. Yeah, the footage is very deceiving because this was really quite steep. And we've often said that the material in here. The scenery is actually quite stunning, and I would have to qualify that as long as it is that you don't mind desert scenery. Now, I'm going to show the entire climb. I had the GoPro with me the whole time I was going up. But there are times that, just so that you're not having to sit here and watch me climb up this hill and listen to me panting like crazy, because it really was quite strenuous. I've got a lot of this footage that I've sped up to 3 times normal, so please don't think that I was actually jogging up this hill. That was not in the cards. You notice that it is very rocky terrain, and this is actually the easiest part of the path. A little bit beyond this, it gets very steep, and the gravel is very loose. And so I found that I was starting to lose my traction, and decided at a certain point that I was just going to go off of the main path and make my own way up.
Okay, keep going, bud. Let's go.
Also notice that some of the audio that I recorded as I was climbing, I've left in the footage. I'm not in really bad shape, but I'm certainly not in great shape when it comes to doing this kind of a hill climb. And you can see the really loose rocks. And at that point, I started to slide, and I was sliding backwards. So I decided to start traversing over on the thicker rock area.
Path is kind of over there, but it was really slippery, so I'm choosing to go up this rock face, but I think I got to go all the way up to there. We'll see. I would actually say getting down from here is going to be harder than getting up. That's got to be the peak. Okay.
I still maintain that getting off of the main trail and using this side path that I took with this traversing back and forth, now that I think back on it, really made a lot of sense. I'm glad I did that. And Morrie was with me for a good portion of this, as you saw in that previous clip. And I thought he was going to stay with me, but a little later on, I turned around and realized he wasn't there anymore. And I think he decided to go back and stay with Libby.
Yeah, I think traversing along here instead of that path might be the smarter move. Also realized it's not easy holding a GoPro while climbing.
Well, at this point, I just used some software to try to figure out how steep this grade was. Not really a grade at this point, it's just classified as a slope.
Oh, we're getting close.
So the traversing really seemed to be working for me and I crossed over the main path that has been carved out by how many hundreds of people that have come up here. But over the course of time, I think it's just become really way too slippery. And so I think there's going to be a lot more that are following in my footsteps and traversing up this hill.
I think that's where I'm going. Ooh. A lot of slippery rocks here.
I also think at a certain point you get up this far and you realize that you're committed. You only have that far left to go, so let's not bail now. Let's see if we can actually make it up there. And I think that's where my head was at, although there were a few occasions where I was wondering about it.
This is really stupid.
Like that point right there where I wondered what I was doing. What did I get myself into?
I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm almost there. Try to get up without falling backwards, slipping on the loose gravel. These little bushes, occasionally you can find a root strong enough to hold on to, and they're in the ground pretty good, so allowing me to use their roots as a foothold. Okay, I don't know what I got. 50 some odd meters to go ish. I lost Morrie. I think he gave up on me. Went back down to Libby. I know she's not going to do this hill.
Thank goodness for the trees and the bigger boulders.
Yeah, I can traverse there. Yeah. Okay, that was good. Find some of these little footholds. Okay. There. Oh, just about fell backwards. All right, here's one. Whew. Holy crud. I am not in very good shape for this. It has been a 14-minute climb already, and I'm not even there. Are we hoping the view is worth it? We are hoping that there's a good view. This big rock outcrop here has turned into be a benefit because it's built kind of like stairs. Yeah, that got us up a good chunk quickly. Okay, tree, hold on tree. Okay, this is really, I've joined up with another path. It seemed to make more sense coming here, but I'm in an area that's a lot of really loose rocks, so take my time, digging a foothold. One more step, one more step.
So close, but so far away, it felt like.
That's it. That's the last of the path. And that's what we came up. And there's my truck way down there. This is kind of spectacular. Now, as far as that last little bit is concerned, I'm thinking this way, into those rocks, to traverse up that last little bit.
And by this point, as you noticed, I had lost track of Morrie. I didn't know where he was anymore. And Libby told me that he had come back to hang out with her for a period of time. But as you'll see here in a couple of minutes, he did find his way back up to the top. As you can see, I was leaning forward as much as I could so that I wouldn't fall backwards. It felt often like I was climbing a ladder. And so close to the top at this point. Now, this is not the very top. This is as far as the path goes where I'm going up. You would need to be an experienced climber to actually go off and try to scale to the very peak.
Okay, I'm almost there. I still think I'm going to stick to this side, although plenty of really loose rocks, but there's enough solid pieces, and I think I can do it. All right, and here is, I believe, and I better not have climbed all this way for nothing. Holy crud. I believe this is what they called Volcano Peak. And yeah, that's pretty steep on the way down. And you know, there's a camper way over there, but I don't think we can see ours. Ours would be in behind that hill. All right, turn around and give you the view from the other side. You see our truck down in the valley. The roadway getting in here. Salt flats out in the distance. Almost looks like a lake. And then all the dispersed camping in this area and all the way over off in the distance. You can see the roadway that we came in on, but our trailer is hidden in behind this big rock. And here's what we are. This is Volcano Peak. So if there was a volcano in here, it has blown out the whole side, which would explain why there's a massive amount of lava flow. So I'm not going to be able to use the GoPro going down. I have a feeling I'm going to end up sliding on my butt a fair bit. So I'll be putting both the GoPro and my iPhone in my front pockets and then trying to scooch down this hill. It's just too steep to try to be filming on the way down, too easy to lose your balance. And if I was to fall, I would just keep falling. It is a long way down. I think the climb is about 800 meters, I think. Oh, and there's Morrie Dog. Oh my goodness, he made it. Hey, buddy, you made it. Hey, fella, guess what? You're panting. You need to go back to the truck to get some water. Look at you. Hey, champ. Hey, champ. How are you? Oh, my bud. Oh, I'm proud of you, fella. That's a long ways up, isn't it? And now you're up here. Now we're gonna go back down. Okay, so just a minute. No, that's as far as you go. It's too far down. Oh, like I said, top of Volcano Peak, and we're now gonna make our way down. There will be no footage of this descent. Too steep. All right, see you on the other side. Okay, just about to the bottom. And yeah, we ended up on our butt sliding down that path. We had to traverse a little bit, as even sliding we ended up going a little too fast. And this is it. I mean, look out, Morrie. I mean, this is the whole way down, but this isn't the steep part. So further up there, and I only fell once, but it wasn't a long fall, so we're good. And then my sweet, sweet bride sitting down here waiting for us, staring into the sun, and we're building up a huge amount of dust cloud. Okay, Morrie, come get a drink. Mommy's got water for you. Yeah, Mommy's got a water for you. Yeah, you have sure earned that water. Okay, there you go. You get a good drink. I'll have one little sip and you can give him the rest.
I have another bottle.
I'm good. Well, you got up here further than I thought you would. That's a good hike, huh?
I kept going and I go, oh, I can make it. And I thought, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah, it's a long ways up. So if this was a volcano, you can see where the cone kind of was, but one whole side of it is blown out, which would indicate why there's
You want more? We can have more.
yeah, let's go get some more at the truck. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, we did some good exercise today, you more dog.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't think he was coming all the way up.
You didn't come back.
I was recording a little video at the top, and all of a sudden I see his head pop over the top. Yeah. I mean, this is, oh, golly. Yeah, you can't even walk on this stuff. This isn't as steep as it was up at the top. I don't know what the angle is on that, but it's steep. This isn't as bad, so you can slide and kind of catch your feet as you go, but further up, I figured I start going, it's going to be like a ski hill all the way down. So there, this is just about to the trailhead. Okay. There we go. Well, we're just about back to the truck. I would say if you like hikes, short but strenuous hikes, or even if you are an experienced climber, this wouldn't be much of a challenge for somebody that's experienced. But I am by no means an experienced climber. I would put myself in the raw amateur level. I don't mind climbing hills. This is the second one I've done this week. This one was by far the more strenuous of the two, even though the other one was probably 5 times as long as this one. The last one had only one area right at the end that got somewhat steep where I had to watch going up, but even coming down, it wasn't, I wasn't losing my footing like I was on this one. But the view at the top, as you saw, is absolutely stunning, totally worth it. And the other thing that I would also mention is coming up here, I wouldn't recommend it for a car. You'd really have to watch. There's places that the ruts are pretty deep, the potholes are pretty deep. I mean, we're on a 4x4 truck and didn't have any issue getting up here. I did have to put it in 4-wheel drive for just a short period of time because I was finding that in 2-wheel drives, the back tires were spinning out on the loose gravel. 4-wheel drive, no problem. But the other thing to be aware of is there's camping up in here. This is all part of that BLM, the Bureau of Land Management. And so there's a ton of spots. In fact, there's our truck, and there's a little place that somebody has camped recently. There's another spot, I guess right about there. And then all along that roadway, even coming up here, we saw a 5th wheel. People have gone and camped on that ridge. You can see the tracks going up the road, and there's a campsite that somebody has carved out right underneath that peak. So, I mean, if you were in a off-road vehicle, particularly one that has built-in camping, like a tent or something up on top, this would be just an absolutely ideal place to come and hang out. And as I see, as I'm standing here, way off in the distance, there's another car making their way up here. Can't tell what it is from this distance, but it looks like it's some kind of a 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive vehicle. So, Elizabeth, let's have just a brief second about our little day trip up to Volcano Peak. You got about a quarter of the way up.
And it looked like a long way up.
It was a long way up.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
It was, absolutely. The view was tremendous. And I would say anybody that really wanted to go and see, this area, I mean, this is a geological landmark. It shows up on the map. It shows up on Google Map. It's something that they promote in this area. And it's not a long hike. Like I said, about 800 meters.
Straight up.
But pretty well straight up. Yeah, I should have taken my phone out and looked at it. I have a level on there that would have told me what the angle was. But to be quite candid, I was scared to take my phone out and pause at that place on the hill, but it's steep.
Yeah, like you slid down part of way, and yeah.
Yeah, I had to slide down on my butt, and I slid down about a quarter of the way.
What equipment would you have brought if you knew what it was like?
Gloves.
Gloves?
Yep.
How about hiking boots?
Hiking boots would be nice. I mean, I've got, sort of all season walking shoes, and they were fine. I don't know that I would do this in slippery running shoes.
No.
And I certainly wouldn't do this.
I can vouch for that. It's a no.
Yeah, I wouldn't do this in anything that didn't have at least a sole and some grip to it. Hiking boots would be good, but the only thing that I would take up the next time would be gloves.
And water.
And, well, you're not up there that long. I mean, I got thirsty, but, you get up there 800 meters. It takes you about a quarter the amount of time to get down as it does to get up.
That's true.
So really, round trip, I was only gone for a little over an hour. And I didn't need water at that point. I will now, but we're back at the truck. So there it is, Volcano Peak. Yay! Good day trip.
So we went out to the Bonneville Salt Flats. They're about 100 miles west of Salt Lake City. And we had been there years ago. And so we went and photo op time and just to see them. They're huge. So while we were camping, I decided I wanted to go out to the speedway. So I took a bike ride. The road was very washboard and rutted. And this is as far as I got. It's just a kind of a hill in the thing. And it was kind of a circle around, a loop around this mound that I was standing on. That's the road back to our spot. And we did find the speedway. I was off by about, I don't know how many miles, but I'm sure one of those mountains in the left were where I thought I was on my way to. It was really kind of a thrill to be there. I'm not a race car guy or into that, but I was just so thrilled and jacked to be out on the land speed, where these records have been made. And watching the other cars just going. Some were, I'm sure we're going like over 100K or 100 miles an hour. So we decided we were going to go. We were going to take the old Truckerosaurus out for a spin on the salt flats. I don't think we were going to try to break any speed records. Yeah, it didn't feel like it was going really fast for me, but then I'm not the driver. This is how it felt like me, but I guess with Steve, it felt like it was that way. Let's go faster. But things have not gone well with passengers saying go faster. On the salt flats, there's two blue lines, and I can't remember what they're used for. I tried looking it up again, but I read about them. And that's from the land speed trials events that they do out there. The last one was in September. So it's just a bunch of locals going by, going 100K an hour or 100 miles an hour. It was really a kind of a thrill to be out there. And there's an environmental issue, worried about the surface being degrading, becoming less. I read one where that's like a few feet deep and the other is only an inch. So there is an issue, and they're trying to mitigate any more damage to the salt flats.